The Bloodline to go to war with top faction at Survivor Series because of Jey Uso. Directions for LA Knight after WWE Fastlane 2023. Why is Seth Rollins still the World Heavyweight Champion despite his real-life back injury? John Cena on working with WWE amid Hollywood hiatus. JD McDonald breaks silence after costing the Judgment Day the tag team titles at WWE Fastlane. Triple H teases his former WWE rival's massive return after 9 months. Let's jump right into it. Directions for LA Knight after WWE Fastlane 2023. LA Knight teamed up with John Cena to defeat Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso at WWE Fastlane 2023. The megastar and greatest of all time prevailed despite the Bloodline duo dominating the contest, with Knight turning in a particularly impressive showing. This was the latest step in his rapid ascent, solidifying him as a threat to arguably the most dominant faction in the company. With Sikoa and Uso conquered, what's next for the man with the undeniable Kavorka? Who will he face next? Is it time to gun for gold? Will he find himself involved in gang warfare on the road to Survivor Series? Here are 3 possible directions for LA Knight after a huge win at WWE Fastlane 2023. Number 3, the megastar could be sucked into the Judgment Day's vortex of villainy. SmackDown's go-home show for WWE Fastlane 2023 saw LA Knight, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso face off with the Judgment Day and the Bloodline. At the Indianapolis event itself, Knight and Cena vanquished Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, while Rhodes in main event Jey dethroned Finn Balor and Damian Priest. With Survivor Series less than 2 months away, everyone involved may not be done with each other. The megastar has crossed over to Raw before to feud with The Miz, so it's quite possible that we see him come up against the Judgment Day, whether as an individual or as part of a collective group of baby faces leading up to a potential War Games matchup. Number 2, LA Knight could pursue the United States Championship. A few weeks before getting involved in a tag team feud on the road to WWE Fastlane 2023, LA Knight put every main roster champion on notice. Cutting a post-match promo after scoring a decisive win over The Miz, the megastar made no bones about the fact that he wanted to hold gold and that no champion was safe from him. Given that he's on SmackDown, the nearest target for him should be United States Championship. Mag has been rumored to be in line for a big push post-Fastlane, and going after a mid-card title like the US Championship is a logical first step. Number 1, LA Knight could go after undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns returns to WWE on the post-Fastlane episode of SmackDown. The Tribal Chief's impending return has speculation running wild as to who his next opponent will be, with John Cena, AJ Styles, and LA Knight being the main names floated around. Should the megastar be the man chosen to confront the head of the table, it would be the biggest match of his career so far. Win or lose, stepping in the ring with Reigns would continue his meteoric rise, making him the latest red-hot babyface to step up to WWE's final boss. Given that Knight has just defeated 2 members of the Undisputed Champions family, this is a likely scenario. Why is Seth Rollins still the World Heavyweight Champion despite his real-life back injury? Seth Rollins successfully retained his World Heavyweight Championship in a highly anticipated last man standing match against Shinsuke Nakamura at Fastlane 2023. The match featured many astonishing moments and close calls where Rollins came close to losing his world title. However, the Visionary somehow managed to secure victory in the match after delivering a Falcon Arrow on top of the table to the King of Strong Styles. Despite Nakamura delivering a performance of a lifetime, he failed to capture the World Heavyweight Championship. The potential reason behind this outcome could be that the company has other plans for the Visionary rather than having him lose his world title. Despite disclosing Seth Rollins' real-life back injury in the early stages of the rivalry between him and Nakamura, the company opted for Rollins to retain his championship. This could also be an indication that WWE may not see Nakamura as a world championship contender at the moment, or there could be a possibility that the promotion believes he may not be ready to hold a world title right now. Moreover, Rollins emerging victorious over Nakamura seems to mark the end of their rivalry. This also adds intrigue to Rollins' current title reign as fans speculate who the next challenger could be or who might ultimately defeat Rollins in the near future. Another possibility is that Damian Priest could be the one to dethrone Rollins by cashing in his money in the bank contract directly. There is also a potential foreshadowing of his contract cash-in after losing the tag team titles at Fastlane. Despite the teaser by Priest backstage at Fastlane, he did not cash in his money in the bank contract on the Visionary after the latter's last man standing match. However, according to recent reports, a story of Priest's MITB cash-in will begin soon on the red brand. It seems like the Fallout edition of Monday Night Raw will serve as the build-up for Priest's MITB cash-in on the Visionary in the near future. Additionally, the Judgment Day might also confront Seth Rollins with an attempt to cash in and dethrone him for the World Heavyweight Championship. If Damian Priest successfully cashes in his contract on Rollins and becomes the new champion, this might create jealousy in Finn Balor as he failed to capture the world title in previous months. It will be interesting to see how things unfold on the upcoming edition of Monday Night Raw, as Seth Rollins is still the World Heavyweight Champion. Do you think we could get to see a storyline build up between Seth Rollins and Damian Priest? Sound off in the comments section below. John Cena on working with WWE amid Hollywood hiatus. WWE superstar John Cena recently spoke about his future and whether he would return to Hollywood after the SAG-AFTRA strike. The Cenation leader returned to WWE on the September 1 episode of SmackDown. Since then, he has been a regular feature of the blue brand. He even started a feud with the Bloodline and is likely to have a few more matches in the coming weeks. Cena and LA Knight were the first guests at the Fastlane press conference. The 16-time champ spoke about going back to Hollywood once the SAG-AFTRA strike comes to an end. He mentioned that he was in the middle of a project when the strike started, and once there was a resolution, he would have to return to the movie business. I made it perfectly clear you can't do both because of the liability and insurance. If I were to try and juggle both, that's very selfish because I would put a whole lot of people in the movie business out of work if something happened to me. So yes, I stopped a project in the middle of it. I can't even talk about the project because of the strike we're in, but we're in the middle of it. So as soon as we get back to work, we go back to work. But I don't control any of that, said Cena. He continued, I'm crossing my fingers and hope that we can find a resolve that everybody's happy with. And for right now, this is the best way I can help come back home to my family. It was a high-voltage clash at WWE Fastlane as John Cena and LA Knight laced their boots against the combined might of Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. The Bloodline members maintained control of the match in the initial stages as they isolated Cena in the ring. Knight was visibly frustrated as he couldn't tag himself into the bout. However, John Cena finally managed to tag in the megastar and the tide turned. He finally hit the BFT on Jimmy Uso and got the pin for a huge victory. What did you think of Fastlane 2023? Let us know in the comments section below. JD McDonagh breaks silence after costing the Judgment Day the tag team titles at WWE Fastlane. WWE Fastlane marked the end of the Judgment Day's reign as undisputed tag team champion. The faction was visibly upset about losing the title and believed that it was JD McDonagh's fault in its entirety. The 33-year-old star took to Instagram to address the situation. The Premium Live event kicked off with the undisputed tag team championships on the line. Damian Priest and Finn Balor came up short against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, with the newly formed tag team winning the titles at the PLE. Even though Priest and Balor had their faction members present at ringside, a mistim attack by JD McDonagh put the final nail in the coffin of the Judgment Day's title reign. JD McDonagh had the Money in the Bank briefcase in his hand and looked to hit Cody Rhodes in the face. Rhodes moved out in the last second, resulting in the 33-year-old superstar striking Priest on his knee. Rhodes capitalized on the situation as he drove Priest through the table and executed a cross Rhodes. He later headed into the ring to win the match for his team. McDonagh took to Instagram to address his actions that cost the faction he's trying to get into so desperately. He seemed visibly disappointed about the situation and had also tried to reach out to Priest on his cell phone after the match at Fastlane. Do you think the Judgment Day would blame JD McDonagh for losing their tag team gold? Sound off in the comments section below. Rhea Ripley sends a message to JD McDonagh. Fastlane 2023 kicked off with a bang as Rhea Ripley oversaw her stablemates lose their undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Damian Priest and Finn Balor headed into the show with the titles, dropping them to Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. The match ended after JD McDonagh's interference backfired as he accidentally hit Priest with his Money in the Bank briefcase. This allowed Rhodes to take him out on the announce table before he and Uso finished Balor off in the ring. McDonagh is incredibly apologetic for what happened at Fastlane, but it seems like Rhea Ripley isn't in a forgiving mood. The Irish star took to Twitter to ask Damian Priest to answer his phone, only for Mami to send him a one-word message: stop. Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio were also present during the match, nearly tilting the match in the Judgment Day's favor before it all came crashing down. It remains to be seen if WWE will give Priest and Finn Balor a rematch for the belts on Raw, which could result in another potential title change. However, JD McDonagh's association with the Judgment Day might be over. It will take a mammoth effort for him to redeem himself in their eyes after his costly error at Fastlane. Triple H teases his former WWE rival's massive return after 9 months. WWE's head of creative Triple H teased a big return during the Fastlane 2023 press conference. On the latest edition of SmackDown, WWE aired a promo hyping the upcoming episode of NXT. The promo ended with the iconic gong that is synonymous with The Undertaker, hinting that the Deadman could make an appearance on the white and gold brand. During the Fastlane post-show press conference, Triple H teased his longtime rival, The Undertaker's appearance, by referring to the gong being heard at the end of the promo. NXT coming up, Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker are going to tear it up, and Cena and Heyman in their corners. Oscar Roxanne Perez, Cody's Rhodes gonna be there with a big announcement. It's an amazing week. Rhodes did mention there was cool music referring to the gong at the end of the promotional package. The game was referencing the fact that Cody Rhodes acknowledged the gong that was played at the end of the promotional package. With two big names referencing the gong, it seems highly likely that The Undertaker will appear on the show. The Undertaker was last seen on WWE TV back in January 2023. He appeared in an in-ring segment with the late Bray Wyatt and current WWE superstar LA Knight. What do you think? Will the Deadman make an appearance on NXT? Sound off in the comments section below. The Bloodline to go to war with top faction at Survivor Series because of Jey Uso. At Fastlane 2023, the Bloodline suffered disappointment after they lost to John Cena and LA Knight. Despite their efforts, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa failed to overcome the challenge ahead of them. While the result would be unpleasant for the heel faction, there might be a threat looming around their heads. The threat to the Bloodline is probably expected to arise from another dominant faction in the Judgment Day. At Fastlane 2023, the Judgment Day also suffered agony as Finn Balor and Damian Priest lost their undisputed tag team championships to Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. While several factors led to the Judgment Day's loss, a heel faction could blame it on the Bloodline. During the latest episode of SmackDown, when Rhea Ripley asked Paul Heyman to acknowledge her, Mammy did so because she told Heyman that his boy Jey Uso did the same thing on Raw. Given Ripley and the company still think Jey belongs to the Bloodline, there is a possibility that the Women's World Champion could come on SmackDown and blame the Bloodline for Damian and Balor's loss. This could then lead to a potential war between the two factions at Survivor Series 2023, which would definitely be a mouth-watering clash. On the latest episode of SmackDown, the Judgment Day was spotted in the locker room of the Bloodline. Later, this appearance by the former faction led to a talk between Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman. Ripley offered Heyman for both the factions to join hands. While Heyman originally liked the idea, he said he would need to get the same approved by Roman Reigns first. Later, Heyman accompanied Jimmy Uso to the ring for his match against LA Knight, which the latter won due to disqualification after Sikoa interfered and attacked him. However, Knight was saved by John Cena, and the Bloodline made their way out of the ring. But before Cena and Knight could celebrate, the Judgment Day made an appearance and walked towards the Bloodline. Then Heyman and Ripley shook hands with the former shouting, "Authorized." This handshake probably is the beginning of a newfound alliance between the two factions. While the night on SmackDown ended in embarrassment for both groups despite the alliance, the Judgment Day losing its gold to Jey Uso could cause serious issues between the two factions. It will be interesting to see how this story plays out when Roman Reigns returns to SmackDown's season premiere next week. Do you think the situation among the Bloodline could get worse following Jimmy and Sikoa's loss at WWE Fastlane 2023? Sound off in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for